Okay, let's finish this up. Number 22, a manufacturer to find the number of units it gives break even. We're looking for a break even for the product. Solve the equation R is equal to C. That's revenue is equal to cost. And they told us that revenue was 130x. So we're going to set that equal to cost, and cost was given by that. And now all I need to do is solve it. When your revenue, which is the money going out, equals to the cost, revenue is the money coming in, equals to cost, which is the money going out, you break even. You're not making any profit whatsoever. So I'm going to subtract 10x from both sides. That's going to give me 120x is equal to the 112,000. And when you divide 112,000 by 120, you get 933.333... And it does say round your answer to the nearest whole unit, so it would be 933 units of whatever it is they're making. All right. Next, suppose that the number of inhabitants of country A is given by y equals blah 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 million, and the number of inhabitants of country B is given by y equals yada 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 million, where X is the number of years since 2010, and they want us to find the year in which the number of inhabitants of country A equals the number of inhabitants of country B. Equals, here's my equal sign. So the number of inhabitants of country A was given by this formula, so I'm going to take negative 7.33x, and that just not enough space there, sorry. Negative 7.33x plus 909.51, and I'm going to set that equal to the number of inhabitants of country B, and the number of inhabitants of country B was given by this formula, so I'm going to put the 2.07x plus 81551 on that side. Now when I solve for x, what I'm going to have is the number of years since 2010, so I'll have to add that number on to 2010 to get the correct year. So I'm gonna add 7.33x to both sides so that it cancels out there, and in the same breath I'm gonna subtract 815.51, so that cancels, and I'm gonna end up with 94 equaling 9.4x. So when I divide 94 by 9.4, I actually get 10, but that is the x is the number of years since 2010. So I'm gonna take 10 and add it on to 2010, which gives me the year 2020. All right. Oops. Don't want that. All right, 24. Here we go. Marcy received an inheritance of 50 grand. Well, good for Marcy. She invested part of it at 12% and the rest at 11%. Her total annual income from the investments was $5,900. Find the amount invested at 12%. This is one of those 2 equations with 2 unknowns stuff. They wanted her, or you, find the amount invested at 12%. So I'm going to let X be the money invested at 12%. But that means I also have to have a Y, and Y is going to be the money at 11%. So some of it's at 12%, the rest of it's at 11%. But I was also told she invested her inheritance, which was $50,000. So if you take the amount of money she invested at X, add that to the amount of money she invested, Y, that is going to equal 50 G's. But then you also have the percentages. So 12% is what she earns on X, 11% is what she earns on Y, and in the end, that's going to be $5,900. So I'm going to take the 0.12 times X and the 0.11 times Y, and when you add those together, that's going to equal the total from the investments of $5,900. And now I got 2 equations with 2 unknowns. You can solve this graphically with the calculator, although I don't know how pretty that's going to work out. Of course, yeah, I guess your calculator would work because you've got the intersection process you can go through, or solve it algebraically, which is what I'd probably do. I'm going to take this equation here and solve it for Y. Y is going to equal 50,000 minus X, and then I would take my 50,000 minus X and I would plug that into this equation where Y is, so that I'm going to have 0.12x plus 0.11 times the 50,000 minus X, which is going to equal, kind of close in there, 5,900. All right, so I'm going to distribute. I'll have 0.12x plus 5,500 minus 0.11x equals 5,900. And then I'm going to combine like terms. That's going to give me 0.01x. Then I'll subtract. 5,900 minus 5,500 is 400. And divide by 0.01, and I get $40,000, which is X, which is what I'm looking for. Find the amount invested at 12%. So $40,000 was invested at 12%. And that's that. All right. Next, solve the inequality. Express the answer A as an inequality, B in interval notation, and C, draw a number line graph of the solution. So, this has parentheses on the right, so I'm going to distribute to get rid of those. On the left, I'm just working on my copying skills. 42a plus 18 is greater than, when you distribute, 36a plus 66. And now I'm going to get all my a's on the left, so I'm going to subtract 36a. That's going to give me 6a on the left is greater than. And on the same breath, I don't want this 18, so I'm going to subtract 18 from 66, and 66 minus 18 is 48. And so when I divide by 6, A is going to be greater than 8. So part A is express it as an inequality. So here's part A. There's my answer. Part B says put it in interval notation. Okay, if a is greater than 8, it's going to start at 8 but not include it. So don't use a bracket, use a parenthesis. And then keep going till infinity. So that's part B. And then part C is draw a number line graph. That's going to be down here. So somewhere on this number line is 8. I'll just say it's right here, which means this would be 7 and this would be 9 and so on and so forth. And then I am going to put a parenthesis on the 8 and then highlight it going this way. And that would be the number line graph of the solution. And there you go. Take a break, take a sip for her. Pepsi. No, actually that was Coke. Okay, so that's 25. Moving right along. 26. Okay, I'm gonna need a ruler. Got it. It says use the intersection method to solve this equation. Now you normally do this on your calculator, but this one I want on the paper. So the left side of the equation, I'm going to call that line 1. So y is equal to 13x minus 4. You're going to cross the y-axis at negative 4. 2, 3, 4. And then you have a slope of 13. So I'm going to rise up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and run over 1. Get my handy dandy ruler. Draw in that line. Okay. Then my other line is going to be the other side. So that's going to be 12x minus 2. It's going to cross the y-axis at negative 2. And then a slope of 12. So up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And over 1, 2. Whoops, sorry. Over 1. Well, that totally blows. Okay, sorry about that. I can't even tell where the heck those intersect. So, let's try for sure. Now, I know wherever the intersection point is, we are looking for where the red line is less than the green line. The red line is below, the green line is down here. So wherever the intersection point is, it's going to be to the left of it. So let's just go through it on the calculator. All right. Y equal to, okay. So the red one, 13x minus 4. And the green one, well, you know what? Since I've got my color calculator, here is red, y sub 2, 13x minus 4. And then green, I think that's green, y5. Looks green to me, 12x minus 2. All right, when I graph it, y-intercepts are negative 4 and negative 2. So there's the red one. There's the green one. Good golly, they look like they're right on top of each other. But I'm looking for the intersection point. So I'm going to hit calculate, or second trace to do calculations. That was second trace, so I could do calc. I need number 5, so I'm just going to click on number 5. I mean, you can scroll down to number 5 if you want and then hit enter. And then I want to see where the intersection point is. It doesn't show that yet. It shows first curve, so hit enter, second curve, guess, intersection point, which, sorry, I got to tilt it. X is equal to 2, y is equal to 22. That's my intersection point, 2, 222. Well, no wonder I can't see it. 222 is way the heck up here somewhere. But the lines, I'll use my highlighter here. Here's the green one, right? Oops. And then the red one is below it, constantly below it. So wherever that intersection point is, way the heck up here, this one didn't work too good on my graph. Wherever that intersection point is, way up here, it's at x is equal to 2. So to the left of 2, from negative infinity up to 2, and does have an equal to on it, so, and including it, that's my answer. Every x coordinate that is between negative infinity and 2 will give you, when you plug it in here, something that is less than that. Like pick, I don't know, how about 0? If I plug 0 in here, I get -4, and if I plug 0 in here, I get -2, and -4 is less than -2. So I picked a number and it checked. Okay, all that graphing did not work too well on that paper. All right. Number 27, solve the double inequality. Just keep in mind that you've got a less than sign here and a less than or equal to sign there. So I would start by subtracting the 5 to cancel it out, but I gotta subtract it at this end and subtract it at that end. Now I've got 0 is less than 2a is less than or equal to 8. Keeping in mind, you've still got this and this. And now I would divide off the 2 so that that cancels. So you're going to be left with 0 is less than a is less than or equal to 4. That's in an inequality. If I ask for interval notation, you would write it as, because there's no equal to, it'd be 0 with a parenthesis, comma, 4 with a bracket. This would be interval notation. And if I had asked you to graph it, which I didn't, but you never know what I might do on the test. Here's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, here's 4. You would have a parenthesis here and a bracket on the 4, and you would highlight everything in between. That's why I call it an in-betweeny. And then this one has an or. This one says, well, it can be this or it can be that. So I've got two equations. I've got this -38 is less than or equal to -5z plus 2. I would subtract to the 2, so that cancels. I'm getting -40 is less than or equal to -5z. Right here, when you divide by a -5, you're going to get a +8 and you're going to get the +z, but that less than or equal to has to be greater than or equal to. Now, saying that 8 is greater than or equal to z, that is the same thing as saying z is less than or equal to 8. And then you've got this equation here, -5z plus 2 is less than or equal to -8. For this one, I would subtract 2, cancel that out. That's going to give me -5z is less than or equal to -10. And then I'm going to divide by -5, but here we go again. I'm dividing by a negative. So my less than or equal to has to become a greater than or equal to +2. Now, all I need to do is put an or between that. Your final answer is, if I do it correctly, put it in, what color have I not used? Pink, I guess. I would say that z is greater than or equal to 2, or z is less than or equal to 8. However, if you look at that on a number line, here's 2, here's 8. If I am greater than or equal to 2, it would look like this. And if I am less than or equal to 8, it would look like this. So if it's one or the other, they overlap and keep going in opposite directions. So technically, it's negative infinity to positive infinity is the whole thing. Although 28 says 2 is less than or equal to z, or z is less than or equal to 8. Well, that's what the answer key has got. But technically, since they start and go in opposite directions and they cross over each other, and it's an or, you can be anything in the green or anything in the purple, and since they overlap, you're really saying, this is what you're really saying. Negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay, I just looked up at my phone, and because I'm recording this on my phone, and it said low battery, so I don't know if it just stopped, paused, or whatever, and didn't record anything that I just said. I don't know. I can't remember. Or I don't know. Oh my gosh. Well, there it all is. So I was just saying that these two things overlap when I graphed it, so technically the answer is negative infinity to positive infinity. All right, and the last two problems. Okay, 29. During the first 4 months of the year, Jack earned blah, 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 blah. If Jack must have an average salary of at least blah, blah, in order to, what must Jack earn in the 5th month in order to qualify for benefits? Okay, Jack must have at least 1,100. At least means greater than or equal to the 1,180. At least. And that's his average. He must have an average salary. So his average should be greater than or equal to 118. An average is just adding up all your numbers and dividing by the number of numbers. So he had 1, 2, 3, these 4 earnings, 1180 plus 1170 plus 1460 plus 1050 plus whatever he gets for the 5th month. What must Jack earn in the 5th month in order to qualify for benefits? So X is that, and when you add up all 5 scores, you divide by 5, and that should be greater than or equal to 1180. So, when I add up 1, 2, 3, those 4 scores or those 4 earnings, I get 4,860 plus X divided by 5 is greater than or equal to 1180. I would then multiply both sides by 5 just so that happens. Five times that number is 5,900, and then I'd subtract the 4,860 from the 5,900, and he needs to earn $1,040 or more. X is what he earns, and it has to be greater than or equal to 1040 in order to earn the retirement benefits. Okay, and one last one. 30. Assume that the math model C of X equals blah, blah, blah represents cost in hundreds of dollars for a certain manufacturer to produce X items. How many items X can be manufactured while keeping the costs between between this number and that number? So you're going to keep the costs between that number and that number. Between, so between would be less than, or no, just less than. Yep, just less than, sorry. No equal to on this. Just less than, because it just says between, not including. Now, costs, I was told, costs is this thing. So I'm going to put the 16x plus 140 in between these two numbers. And now it's just one of those, you know, in-betweenies. So solve for x. I'm going to subtract 140. Oh, crap, I forgot. It says the cost is in hundreds of dollars. Okay. This is in hundreds of dollars. So when they gave me 526,000, I really need to divide that by 100 to get it in terms of hundreds of dollars. So really, I need to knock off 2 zeros here. Sorry, I forgot that part. So that when I subtract the 140 from everything, that cancels. I'm gonna get 5,120 is less than 16x is less than 7,680, and then you're gonna divide by 16 so that that cancels out, and you're gonna get 320 is less than x is less than 480. So how many items, as long as they produce anywhere between 320 and 480 items, that'll keep their costs between 526,000 and 782,000. And that took me 27 minutes and 29 seconds. All right, the end.